What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Gamepass in Review. I'm Kevin, aka the Muffin Mon, and today we're taking a look at Marvel's Avengers, developed by Crystal Dynamics and published by Square Enix. Originally released in August of 2020, the game was met with a lot of backlash and criticism. Crystal Dynamics has actually spent the last year kind of crawling out of the hole. They've launched a bunch of DLCs. We got two Hawkeye characters. We got Black Panther, War of Wakanda expansion. And recently, it's come to Game Pass. So I had to jump in and see if the game's actually as bad as everyone was saying. Now, right off the bat, I want to get it out there. I'm a huge Marvel fanboy. I'm there day one, sitting in the theaters, watching all the movies. I grew up reading the comics, watching the animated shows, playing every Marvel game I could get my hands on. But Marvel's Avengers never really sat right with me from the get-go. From the first reveal trailer, I was like, there's something off about this game. I'm not into it. And then the more I saw, the less I wanted to actually pick it up. So I felt pretty justified when reviews came out and saw that, it's not great. By all accounts, it was not good. But it's been a year, and Crystal Dynamics, like I said, they've spent the time, spent the money, spent the development power. Is it better 1 year on? And I'm here to hold my hands up and say that Marvel's Avengers is not nearly as bad as everyone makes it out to be. And I myself was very harsh on this game, a little too harsh. Does this mean that Marvel's Avengers is a good game? Absolutely not. The game has a ton of issues, but before we get into those issues, I do want to talk about the good things about Marvel's Avengers, because there is some good things in this game. Mainly the campaign. I think the campaign is the strongest part of Avengers, and I think that was a common praise when it got launched, because for the majority of the campaign, you take the role of Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, and to be frank, she's the best character in this game. She's charming, she's bubbly, she's very fun, she's an Avengers fanboy. She really goes out of her way to bring some energy and happiness to a story that doesn't really have that from the other characters. So essentially, you start out, she's a fanboy. She's trying to enter some comic contest. Like, I wrote a story about the Avengers. She goes to an 8-day celebration, Avengers Day. Everything goes wrong there. Avengers are showing off Terrigen, which, if you're in the Marvel universe at all, great idea to have that chemical around. But things go wrong. They're attacked by Taskmaster, some villains of the story, and ultimately Terrigen's released. People die. It leads to the creation of Inhumans. And my main criticism, just off the bat, is that this is a very cookie cutter story. Right off the bat, I was like, I know where this is going. It makes sense, but it doesn't seem like it's a very creative story. I feel like we've been told something along these lines. Like, if you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you would have seen the creation of Inhumans. You would have seen their persecution. So I really don't think from a creative standpoint, it was really all there. But throughout the story, you recruit the others of Avengers, you take down AIM and save Inhumans. And while I enjoy Kamala and she does shine throughout this, especially when she's with other Avengers one-on-one, I think she brings out the best in those characters. I don't think the other performances are as strong. Now, this game boasts some good voice acting, like Troy Baker, who I love. He's a great voice actor, but this role is not it. I do not think he did a good performance here. I don't think that this was anything stand out from any of the rest of the cast except Kamala. She was good. She brought out the best in every scene that she was in. I just can't find anything, and maybe it's my MCU bias coming in. Maybe if I didn't have the Robert Downey Jr. in my mind, that I wouldn't judge this so harshly. So there could be some bias there on my part, but for me, I wasn't blown away by any of it, especially if you look past the story and the voice acting. You get into the gameplay, and the gameplay is what I think really struggles here, because I'm not sure the game knows what it wants to be at certain points. You start off as sort of this third-person adventure game where you spend the majority of levels sprinting by enemies, jumping with Kamala, hitting quick time events. And then you get story missions later on interspersed throughout those type of levels where you go to war table and you have to choose. You can play as any of the Avengers that you currently have recruited. And you get dropped in this bland, openish world area where you just fight endless amounts of robots. And usually it's one of three objectives. It's, fight off waves of robots by defending a point, go find these certain points to destroy, open a vault again by standing in certain points. It's not creative. It gets very repetitive and old. And I had a few fun hours in multiplayer doing this with my friends. But after one or two nights, I was like, all right, I'm over this. I cannot do this mission again. I cannot see this layout again. I think that even when they try to mix it up with like villain sectors where you go fight some bosses, it's not really enjoyable. The bosses are spongy. The gameplay just really is lacking for what I want. And apart from just the combat, then you get into the gear system and all these other things they want you to manage. And I like gear systems in game. Don't get me wrong. I do enjoy a good gear system, but I want the gear to feel like it matters. I want the gear to have effects that I can feel during gameplay. And maybe it's because I didn't hit end game that I don't, but I never felt like any of the effects on my gear actually mattered. It was more, I got better gear, open, hit left trigger to equip all of it. So I never really felt that. It didn't change anything of the cosmetics look of your heroes. I think the skill tree is bad. There are way too many skills. Most of them, it's pretty confusing in my opinion. I think this game has terrible UI, especially when you get into things like bounties and challenges and all these tasks they want you to do. They want you to do mission chains. They want you to do bounties. They want you to do challenge cards, which is where the game definitely starts to lose me. Mainly because you have to do specific challenges to progress your challenge card. So, for instance, I was like 16 headshots with Iron Man, I think, to get points towards my challenge card. And it was like, okay, I want this skin, but I can only progress by doing certain things. And a lot of the times, the thing they want you to do aren't fun, they're just annoying. Sometimes it's like, okay, I can't do this right now because the mission I need isn't available. So I can't progress anymore. I can't get the cosmetic I want. I don't like that system. I want to feel like my time just playing the game is being rewarded. So for me, that is a miss. I understand there are people that like those types of systems. For me, that's not it. Um, I know that there's a dedicated fan base, and I'm not trying to throw shade. I have friends in this community that like this game. Assemble, Luke Lore, and Sippy Ghost from XCP. I know those two are really into Avengers, and that's fine. I can understand why they like this game. I can see the appeal it has because it is fun being a superhero. Every character in this game does feel different. Each character controls differently. I think some play pretty poorly. I don't think flying is implemented well for any character. It feels clunky most of the time. I think some of the jumping and quick time events is pretty off. It doesn't really feel good, especially if you played Anthem, which I think does flying a lot better than this game. That's kind of what I wanted Iron Man to feel like, who I did spend the majority of the time playing. He just never really felt that good. And then combat itself, like shooting projectiles, doesn't feel good. The enemy hits, some of the combos you can do are pretty cool, but there are characters that just don't click with me, and that's fine. They'll click for someone else. I know I don't enjoy playing Black Widow. I know there are people that enjoy playing Black Widow. So there is diversity here. You will find a character that feels good if you spend the time and be like, okay, I don't like this, but I do enjoy, shooting guns and doing all this martial arts with Black Widow. Maybe I'm gonna go over there, or maybe you're gonna be Thor and throw your hammer and have more powerful lightning strike abilities. So if you are interested, I would say try out the heroes, see which one you like. Definitely play through the story. I think the story is worth it. It's pretty short. It's only like 8 hours. It has good moments. I think the ending is pretty lackluster and kind of obvious if you're paying attention, the twist at the end. But apart from the story, I don't really think there's much here, especially for me. There are the DLC campaign stories, which I tried. Maybe I will finish them at some point, but they're not my main focus. They're not something I'm excited to go back for, especially a starting Kate Bishop. Not a great start, in my opinion. I hear Black Panther is probably the best. But if you don't like grinding, if you don't like what I'm saying from the multiplayer aspect, because that's going to be the majority of your time in this game, I'd say save yourself the 140 gigabyte download and skip this one. So I'm really not overall impressed with Avengers. I like it more than I thought I did. I wanted to love it. I do have a friend that enjoyed it a lot more than I do, but I'm overall coming away pretty disappointed, and that's sad as a Marvel fan. I hope the game gets better, but for me, I think we have better Marvel properties coming with things like Midnight Suns, which appeals a lot more to me. And even Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 on the Switch, I think, is a better overall game. Anyway, guys, well, if any of that sounds good, go check it out. If not, well, you're in the same boat as me. But that's all I got this week, guys. And again, not as bad as I originally thought. An all right story with a good character. Gameplay and multiplayer components drag this title down. If you like my review, please like, share, subscribe over on YouTube. If you're on a podcast service, feel free to rate us. And until next time, I will see you. Bye.